Chapter 1, Douluo Continent. Bashu is also known by the beautiful name, Land of Heavenly Abundance, and among its many legends, none is more famous than the Tang Sect. The Tang Sect is a mysterious place. Many people only know it as a location halfway up a mountain, but the peak where the Tang Sect resides bears a chilling name, Ghost Cry Summit. If one throws a stone from the top of Ghost Cry Summit, it takes a full 19 seconds before the sound of it hitting the base can be heard. This speaks volumes about the mountain's height. Because it exceeds the 18 levels of hell by one, the place earned its ominous name. A young man in a gray robe stood atop Ghost Cry Summit. The fierce mountain wind did not move him in the slightest. The large Tang character on his chest clearly marked his origin. He was a disciple of the Tang Sect. The gray robe signified he was an outer sect disciple. He was 29 years old this year, having been brought into the Tang Sect shortly after birth. He ranked third among the outer sect disciples, hence the others referred to him as Third Young Master. Naturally, in the mouths of the inner sect disciples, this became Tang San. Since its founding, the Tang Sect had always been divided into two branches, inner and outer sections. Outer sect disciples were either from outside families, or were granted the Tang surname. Meanwhile, the inner sect was reserved for those of the Tang family bloodline. At this moment, Tang San's expression was rich with emotion, sometimes smiling, sometimes crying, but regardless of the changes on his face, the excitement in his heart could not be hidden. For 29 years, ever since he was taken in as a baby by Elder Tang Lon of the Outer Sect, the Tang Sect had been his home, and its hidden weapons his everything. Suddenly, Tang San's face changed but quickly returned to calm. He muttered bitterly to himself, "What must come will come." 17 white-robed figures appeared, streaking up the mountain like stars. The youngest among them was over 50 years old, and each bore a solemn expression. The white robes marked them as inner sect elders, and the golden Tang character on their chests symbolized their authority. There were 17 elders in the Tang Sect's inner court, including the sect master, Master Tang. All 17 had come up the mountain. Not even a martial arts conference could draw all the Tang Sect elders at once. It's worth noting that the oldest elder had lived over 120 years. The elders of the Tang Sect had all reached the peak of cultivation. In a mere moment, they had arrived at the summit. According to custom, outer sect disciples must kneel in greeting upon seeing inner sect elders. But Tang San remained still, silently watching the solemn-faced elders step before him, cutting off all escape. Behind him was Ghost Cry Summit. He placed down 3 Buddha's Fury Tang lotus flowers. At last, Tang San bowed his head, his eyes filled with reluctant affection, a joyful smile forming at his lips. After 20 years of effort, he had finally succeeded. He had completed the ultimate hidden weapon of the Tang Outer Sect. The satisfaction and pride he felt couldn't be described in words. At this moment, Tang San felt that nothing else mattered anymore, whether it was breaking sect rules or life and death itself. Everything seemed to have ended with the blooming of those 3 Tang lotuses. The Buddha's Fury Tang lotus, the most domineering hidden weapon in the world, had been born from his own hands. What could excite him more than this weapon, even one laced with aphrodisiac? I know that sneaking into the inner sect and secretly learning the sect's forbidden techniques is an unforgivable crime. The sect rules allow no exceptions. But I, Tang San, swear to the heavens that I will never reveal even a sliver of what I learned to outsiders. I'm not saying this to beg for mercy. I just want the elders to know. I have never forgotten where I came from. Not before. Not now. Not ever. At this moment, Tang San's mind was unusually clear, perhaps the clearest it had ever been in his life. Gazing at the ancient courtyard of the Tang Sect halfway up the mountain, breathing in the air that belonged to the sect, his eyes grew wet. From the moment he gained awareness, he had lived for the Tang Sect, and now it seemed he must also die for it. The elders remained silent. At this moment, they had yet to recover from the shock of witnessing the Buddha's Fury Tang lotus. 200 years after 200 years it had reappeared in the hands of an outer sect disciple. What did that mean? It meant supremacy over the world. A peerless hidden weapon that not even members of the Tang Sect could defend against signified that the peak era of the Tang Sect had arrived. Seeing the elders bow their heads in silence, Tang San smiled calmly. Everything I have was given to me by the Tang Sect. My life, my skills, all of it was bestowed upon me by the sect. No matter the time, I live as a man of the Tang Sect, and I will die as a ghost of the Tang Sect. I know, as an outer sect disciple who violated the rules, my body will not be allowed to remain in the Tang Sect. In that case, let my bones return to nature and bash you. Tang San's voice was steady, even tinged with excitement. It finally awakened the elders. As they raised their heads to look at him, a layer of milky white energy suddenly radiated from his body. Heavenly mysterious treasure record, you even learned our sect's highest inner cultivation method? Master Tang cried out in disbelief. Boom! An explosion rang out. As the elders instinctively stepped back in caution, they saw Tang San's body now bare, completely unclothed. Tang San smiled, a radiant and brilliant smile. Naked I came, naked I go. The Buddha's Fury Tang Lotus is my final gift to the sect. Now, aside from myself, I take nothing from the Tang Sect. All the secret manuals are placed beneath the first brick at the entrance to my room. From this moment on, Tang San has returned everything to the Tang Sect. Ha 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 ha. Tang San threw his head back in wild laughter and stepped quickly backward. At that moment, the Tang Sect elders suddenly realized what he intended, but none could stop him in time. His body, enveloped in white light, shot toward Ghost Cry Summit, soaring into the misty clouds shrouding the mountain. Wait! Master Tang finally reacted. But no matter what he said now, it was already too late. The thick fog, carrying damp air, swallowed the sunlight, and with it, took Tang San, the man who had dedicated his life to the Tang Sect and its hidden weapons. Time seemed to freeze. Master Tang, his hands trembling, gently lifted the 3 blooming Tang lotuses before him. His eyes were moist. Tang San, oh Tang San. Why did you have to suffer like this? You've truly left us all in awe, so much awe. Brother! The second elder stepped forward. Why grieve for this traitor? Master Tang's gaze turned cold in an instant. A chilling aura surged from his body as he glared at the second elder. Who are you calling a traitor? Have you ever seen a traitor who, after mastering the sect's most powerful secrets, doesn't flee? Have you seen a traitor who uses death to prove himself? Have you seen a man who holds in his hands a weapon capable of destroying all the Tang Sect masters, yet offers it as a final gift to the sect? Tang San is no traitor. He is the greatest genius the Tang Sect has seen in 200 years. The second elder stood frozen. But he stole our sect's secrets. Master Tang cut him off sharply. If you could create the Buddha's Fury Tang Lotus, I wouldn't care what you stole. You were wrong. I was wrong. Just moments ago, we stood by and watched the opportunity for the Tang Sect's revival slip through our fingers. The other elders rushed forward. Their expressions were all complex, some doubtful, some mournful, some sighing, but above all filled with regret. You don't need to say anything else. Hear my command. Order all Tang Sect disciples to mobilize. Search beneath Ghost Cry Summit. Bring Tang San back, alive or dead. From this moment on, Tang San is promoted to an inner sect disciple. If he is alive, he will be my sole successor as sect master. Yes, sect master. The elders responded in unison, bowing deeply. If Tang San had still been on the cliff to hear Master Tang's words, even in death, he would have felt joy. His efforts had not been in vain. But alas, it was all just a little too late. Ghost Cry Summit, where even a falling rock takes over 19 seconds to reach the ground, seemed to transcend the 18 levels of hell themselves. How could such a place, shrouded in mist, allow a person it had claimed to return alive? Tang San was gone. He had forever left this world. Yet his destiny in another life had just begun. Douluo Continent, Heaven Do Empire, Southwestern Region, Fasinhuo Province. Saint Spirit Village, a name that, upon hearing, might inspire awe. But in truth, it was just a small village in the south of Nuoding City, part of Fasinhuo Province, with just over 300 households. The reason for its name lay in legend. 100 years ago, a spirit master from this village had reached the revered rank of spirit saint, earning it lasting fame. That tale remained the village's eternal pride. Outside the village lay vast farmland. This region supplied grain and food to Nuoding City. Although Nuoding wasn't a major city in the province, its proximity to the border of another empire made it a critical trade hub between the two great nations. Because of this, Nuoding flourished, and the surrounding rural villages enjoyed a better standard of living than most. At the break of dawn, as a faint glow of white light rose in the eastern sky, a small, thin figure appeared on a low mountain about 100 meters tall, just outside Saint Spirit Village. It was a child about 5 or 6 years old. Clearly, he often basked in the sun, as his skin had a healthy wheat color tone. His short black hair gave him a sharp, lively look, and though his clothes were simple, they were clean. For a child his age, climbing this 100-meter hill shouldn't have been easy. Strangely enough, however, when he reached the summit, his face showed no redness or signs of labored breathing, only calm satisfaction. The boy sat at the mountain's peak, his eyes fixed firmly on the gradually brightening eastern sky. He inhaled slowly through his nose, exhaled gently through his mouth, forming a smooth and steady breathing cycle. Then suddenly his eyes widened. In the faint white light on the horizon, he seemed to catch a subtle wisp of violet aura. Without exceptional eyesight and intense concentration, it would have been impossible to notice. As the violet aura emerged, the boy's focus sharpened completely. He didn't even exhale, only continued to draw in gentle breaths while staring intently at the ever-flickering strand of violet light. The violet glow didn't last long. Once the rising sun bathed the eastern sky in full light, it vanished without a trace. Only then did the boy slowly close his eyes and exhale deeply, releasing the turbid energy from his body. A stream of white air flowed gently from his mouth before gradually dissipating. After sitting quietly for a while, the boy opened his eyes again. Whether it was a trick of the lingering violet aura or something more, a faint purple hue glimmered briefly in his pupils before fading away. With a sigh, he wore a disappointed expression that no child of his age should ever have. Shaking his head, he muttered, "Still not working. I still can't break through the first bottleneck of the mysterious heaven technique. It's been 3 months. Why? Even the purple demon eye, which relies on purple chi from the east, and can only be cultivated in the early morning, is still progressing. But without breaking this bottleneck, I can't enhance mysterious jade hand either. When I started training, going from the first to the second level didn't seem this difficult. The mysterious heaven technique has 9 levels in total. How can the first be this troublesome? Could it be that this world is fundamentally different from the one I came from?" It had been over 5 years since he came to this world. The child now sitting here was none other than Tang San. The same Tang San who had once leapt from the cliff of Ghost Cry Summit to prove his resolve. When he regained consciousness, all he could feel was warmth. Death, which he had expected, never came. Soon after, through a process of compression and transformation, he arrived in this world. It took a long time before Tang San truly understood what had happened. He hadn't died, but he was no longer the same Tang San from before. After birth in this new world, it took him nearly a year to learn the local language. He still remembered the day he was born, though he couldn't open his eyes at the time. He had heard the heart-wrenching cries of a man, an anguished voice that had cut through the air. When he finally learned the language and pieced the memories together, he realized that the man had been shouting, "Sanner, don't leave me." That man was his father. Tang how In this world, his mother had died during childbirth. Whether it was fate or miraculous coincidence, to commemorate his deceased wife, Tang Hao gave his son the same name, Tang San. The children of the same age in the village often teased him because of his name, but Tang San himself was quite content with it. After all, he had used this name for nearly 30 years in his previous life. That familiarity alone was enough for him to quickly grow fond of these two characters. Coming to this new world, he had gone from shock and fear to excitement, and now to calm acceptance. Tang San had fully embraced the truth. This to him was heaven giving him a second chance. The greatest wish of his past life might now be fulfilled in this one. He had arrived in this world with nothing, not even clothes, but Tang San possessed the most valuable treasure of all, memory. As the most outstanding outer sect genius of the Tang Sect, every technique and method for crafting various, mechanical hidden weapons had been engraved deeply in his mind. Moreover, when he had secretly taken the inner sect's forbidden manuals, driven by a desire he had harbored for years, he had also memorized the sect's supreme technique, the mysterious Heaven Treasure Record. Tang San now hoped he could once again bring glory to the Tang Sect in this world. I need to head back. Tang San looked at the sky, then leapt up. His thin frame darted down the mountain at high speed. If anyone had seen him at that moment, they would have stared in shock. With each step, he covered nearly a jang, about 3.3 meters. And the uneven terrain seemed to pose no obstacle to him at all. He weaved around every pit and bump with ease, his pace faster than most grown adults. What was the essence of the Tang Sect? Hidden weapons, poison, and lightness skill. ****. The biggest difference between the Tang Sect's inner and outer sects lay in the usage of hidden weapons. The outer sect relied primarily on mechanical devices, while the inner sect focused on true techniques, manual skill. Poisons were commonly used by the outer sect, but rarely by inner sect disciples. The inner sect's hidden weapons were so precise and deadly that they didn't even need poison.